I had my top surgery in Poland almost 2 years ago. I could say I chose Poland because I love the people, the food, the, the culture. But in actuality, it's because just like my dad, I fucking love a bargain. I had planned to get my top surgery on the NHS in October 2018. But in March of that year, I found out that top surgery from Northern Ireland was being put on indefinite hiatus. So I had no choice but to pay out of pocket. And Poland was the cheapest option. So Poland we went. When you get top surgery, you have to arrive 2 hours prior to when you're due in surgery. This is to meet your surgeon for the third and final time, to get measured up for your adjustments, to meet your anesthesiologist, and essentially sign your life away. To be honest, though, I spent the majority of those 2 hours attempting to dry shave my incredibly hairy chest with a woefully inadequate razor. One might liken it to trying to take down the entire Amazon rainforest with a fucking spoon. So I'm sitting in this hospital room surrounded by my loved ones, waiting to be called by the nurse into surgery. People often think that the life changing moments happen post surgery, but for me, I had mine here. I'd often thought about how I might feel mere minutes away from getting my top surgery. I'd imagine feeling scared, nervous, maybe even I had some last minute doubts. But to my complete surprise, I felt none of these, or at least they were quietened slightly so that I could have a crystal clear moment of clarity. It's happening, and I'm here. As a stand up comic, I've always had a little prayer of if something bad happens to me, please God, let it at least be funny. But the last year had been anything but funny. Weeks after my top surgery was put on indefinite hiatus, which is a fancy word for cancelled, by the way, I began having panic attacks so severe that I genuinely thought I was going to die sometimes. And I started self harming again. For that last year, I became a husk of myself. I worked, I slept, I tried to eat, and I survived. As a trans person, I know what it is to be trapped in your own body. Not that I would ever say that because it's such an oversimplified cliche, but sometimes the shoe fits. As someone who's struggled with mental illness, I am accustomed to the feeling of being trapped in my own mind. But never before had I experienced this feeling of my soul, my spirit, extinguishing so suddenly and so dramatically. I isolated myself from life altogether, as I never knew when or where my soul, my spirit would suddenly be choked out of my entire being. I'd go out for a fun night out, and all of a sudden I'd find myself idly standing in the corner of a nightclub where a man named Leo used to dance. It was so frightening, so painful to see the person that I loved, the person that I had fought so hard and so long to be, disappear entirely. Sometimes I worried that I'd never be that same man again. But finally, it is happening. I am here and I am ready. A thought follows shortly after this, a little bit more mundane. Hmm, I kind of need to pee. And immediately on cue, the nurse arrives. Mr. Lardie, we're ready for you in surgery now. And instead of saying, like a normal person would, could you wait literally just a second so I can go pee? I thought, fuck it, I'll just go. Why not? Every step I take away from that hospital room, I realize what a colossal mistake I've made. I really, really, really gotta pee. I'm desperately trying to formulate the sentence in my head and speak the words. But before I know it, I'm on top of the surgery table with my surgeon leaning over me. It's in this moment that I have another crystal clear moment of clarity, maybe slightly less life altering than the first moments ago. But I realize, you know, this surgery is 4 to 6 hours long. If I piss myself, that's their problem, not mine. The surgeon turns to me to put the anesthesia mask on my face, and he says to me, try to think of something nice whilst you drift off to sleep. I think it helps people to recover better, which is just such a kind, beautiful, and sweet thing to say. But I'm completely panicked because I cannot think of anything other than Niagara Falls. I planned for absolutely everything except this one thing, and that's when my memory cuts out. I wake up 4 hours later in the recovery room. I groggily pull at my compression shirt just to confirm that they haven't accidentally left the right tit for a gag. I look down. It's all good. Flat chest. Brilliant. I had imagined that after my top surgery, I would be tearfully overcome with joy. But there was literally only one thing on my mind when the nurse comes over to tap me. Don't touch there. Can I help you? And I say, with absolutely no volume control whatsoever, oh, I need a piss. Oh, I need a piss, please. Now, bear in mind, this poor Polish nurse, her first language is not English, and I doubt whacked out Belfast is even her third. So after a moment of watching the actual buffering symbol go above her head, she clicks what I need and slides a commode under my butt so I can relieve myself. Now, I don't want to brag, but this isn't my first time at the rodeo. I've used a commode before, but never lying down, never lying down. And no matter how much I want to, no matter how much I need to or try to, I cannot pee. I think subconsciously I'm worried that when I start to pee, it'll just shoot jet stream out horizontally in front of me and wipe out the entire nursing team. So I can't pee. Finally, they wheel me into my hospital room. I don't think my loved ones are allowed to join me yet, but hell nor high water will stop my mum from being where I am right now. So she's there when I arrive, and I turn to her very tearfully and say, Mum, please, I am busting for a piss. They put a commode under me, but I can't pee lying on you. Tell me. Okay, okay. So Mum negotiates with the nurses. I can use the toilet in the hospital room if she's in the room with me. So two nurses kind of help me shuffle to the toilet, overseen by a very nervous mother. Mum closes the door. She turns around to give me a bit of privacy. I don't know what for. She's seen it all before. But I still cannot pee. I think I am so aware of the fact that there's two nurses just like centimeters outside of the door listening in. So I say to Mum, still more Belfast than I've ever been, completely drugged up. Love, will you turn the tap on? I need to piss. I can't do that. So Mum turns on the tap. And this is where my memory cuts out. I don't even remember how great it was to pee. I woke up. I woke up in my bed with my mum sitting next to me. I look at her and she's smiling, but there's also tears in her eyes. And I suddenly think how difficult this must have been, not just for me, but for her as well. And I want to comfort her. And I'm like, Mum, it's okay. I'm all right. You all right? I'm okay. And she says, Leo, you silly bastard. Do you know what happened when you went to the bathroom? No. Well, turns out someone had shaved their incredibly hairy chest in the sink and maybe blocked it. So when I turned on the tap, the sink flooded. Within seconds, the bathroom flooded. And then within seconds, the entire hospital room flooded. The nurses had to get an entire tree's worth of paper towels to create a pathway for you to safely walk back to your bed. And I laughed as much as my torn chest would allow. which granted is not much. It was kind of like, huh. I lay back in my bed, got a smile on my face, resting easy in the knowledge that things were going to be funny again. And hopefully it wouldn't just be the bad things, but the good things too. I thank you.